Hi guys, welcome to Chess You Study. Today we are going to talk about one of the checkmate patterns, the Morphy's mate. The Morphy's mate is named after the legendary American chess player, Paul Morphy. The checkmate is executed by a bishop and a rook. The black king is trapped in a corner behind its own pawn. The king is also cut off by the white rook. White's bishop delivers checkmate. This is an advanced Morphy's mate pattern. This pattern uses two techniques, the discover attack and windmill or seesaw attack. Let's follow the Morphy's mating pattern elements. 1. The h7 pawn does not move. 2. An open g file. 3. Long diagonal h8 mate. How do you get this position? Most of the time, getting a complete open g5 is not easy, but we can do rook lit after castle. Rook takes g7 check. King h8. Then we play rook takes f7 check. This is a very good discover check move. But you say, well, why not the rook to g4? The bishop is checking the king and the rook steals off the g file. How can he protect? Well, he can play pawn to f6 and he's absolutely fine. Rook g5 we already know is a mistake because f6 attacking the two pieces. Now the only move for white is rook f5, king g7 protecting f6 pawn, rook g5 check, rook f5 g6. You want the bishop. So rook g5 is a mistake. So let's say why rook takes f7 is the best move. Because king g8, rook g7, king h8, and now we play rook g5. You see, in this position, it is going to make it easier because the f pawn cannot push because the f pawn is gone. This is the importance of the rook takes f7, the discover check on the second move. In this pattern is called the Pillsbury mate. It's the twins with the Morphy's mate. The difference is that Pillsbury used rook to mate, Morphy used bishop. If you are getting confused about the names, it does not matter. The idea matters. If you have a bishop controlling a long diagonal leading to the king's corner and the g file is open, you can use a heavy piece to shield off the file from distance. In this example, Morphy's or the Pillsbury mate can all work in this position. This position is nearly exactly the same as this one. Oh wow, this one. But the thing is that we have another rook here. So let's say rook takes g7, king h8, rook takes f7, all of the moves that we have learned. It will be absolutely fine. But we want a quicker checkmate. So rook takes g7 will not be that quick. We waste 5 moves. So can we use the fuse forest, mate? Yeah, rook takes g7. Now we go rook to g8. What? You can rook takes. Oh yeah, you cannot. You can king takes. Why cannot rook takes? Well, the bishop on here and the rook is double tracking the king. The king must move. So king takes g8. Then we go rook g1, mate. This is the same as this one. The g file is open and the bishop controls along the diagonal. If you want to use the Morphy's mating pattern, a sacrifice open is needed to get the g file all the way open, as is the case here. It is a very common position after short castled, when there's no way to capture the g7 pawn. Well, if the queen was on g2, queen takes g7, king takes g7, rook g2, king to h8, and then bishop takes f6 will be mate. But no, the queen was not on g6, cannot do this. Queen takes g6, this sacrifice. Well, then what? Well, we know more than one way to clear a bothersome pawn out of the way. This pawn is very bothersome. Well, how to get it away? Well, we need to take something to protect. Then a rook check on the g file will drive the king into the corner and the bishop finishes it. This is, we use all the instructions and we see that queen takes f6, sacrificing the queen to open the g file is a very good idea in the Morphy space. Now please look at this position for about 10 seconds or pause the video. See if you can find out the best move for white. Alright, this position is definitely good for white. As the black's g file is open, the king is in the corner. And even the development is not finished yet. White already had a vertical pressure down the g file. And the diagonal pressure by playing his queen to f6 will be made. But playing now will be a big blunder because the queen is guarding. So then what? The black queen is guarding the main square. But if white can remove that defender, which is the queen, or force the defender move and take a no longer protect f6 square, it will be made. Can he? Yes. What has a rook on e8 can do the job. So rook e8. If rook takes e8, then queen d7 is quickly mating black. If queen takes e8, then we go queen f6, rook g7, the queen takes g7 will be mate. In this example, you should pause the video and think about this position. Alright. Although white does not have a bishop to join the Morphy's mate, again, the queen will do it better. He has a rook ready to blast open the g7, plus another rook ready to take the fast rook's place on the g file. Now white needs to arrange diagonal pressure as well as the vertical pressure against the king's position. And the only piece you have for the fast purpose is white queen. Queen g5 check. Well, if we play queen c3, then you can play e5 or even play f6. So queen c3 is not the best move, as already has shown. Queen g5 must be the best move. King h8 is forced, and then, well, king g8 after queen f6, so he can play king g8, but rook g1 will be quickly mating black. So the first lesson is being flexible with the mating patterns. If you have a way to tear open the pawn cover in front of the enemy king, think about all resources you have to follow up. Second is when your queen is available. Bishops and pieces can do a diagonal and vertical pressure. A queen can do both. Like here, queen acts like a rook, then turns into a bishop. The third is the value of connected rooks. First rook down, the second rook up, a good weapon. Pause the video again and think about the mating elements you have and what you need to create. Also think about the patterns. A diagonal pressure against h8. Bishop is on f6, so black won't be able to move the f pawn. The g file is already open, an invitation to Morphy's mate. Lastly, two heavy pieces on the board, so look for a way to get one of them onto the h file. Black's rook and queen both got the squares you want. For example, rook takes e4. If you start with rook takes rook, you solve nothing. Black rook are doubled. So he replies with rook takes rook. And now your resources of taking control of the G file have been reduced by a piece with no element change in black's position. So what can we do? Queen g3. Well, then it's just asking for a chain, and again you don't have anything to play after queen takes g3. So what is the best move in this position? Hopefully you had already found out. It's queen g4. If our queen moves to g4, black is forced to reply with rook takes queen. But then you have rook takes rook check, and now rook drives down the g file with nothing attacking it. Bishop g7 is forced, rook takes g7, king to h8, and then rook g6 mate. Well, if he plays king to f8 after rook takes g7, we go rook takes at h7 and threatens rook to h8 mates. Let's say he plays rook e6, we go rook h8 as mate. This is called the Anderson's mate. You know that we had already learned this in the previous video. At last, let's see how Morphys use Morphy's mate in the real game in 1857. The main idea for black is not obvious. White king seems secure, does it not? White queen was kind of out of game, so white is asking to trade queen. Can you find out any clues? Please pause the video if you can. See if you can be there. Next, Morphy. As you know, Morphy likes to sacrifice. Force open the white king pawn cover. Rook g6. Take control on open g5 now. Now need diagonal support. This rook move also freed the white light square bishop into the mating battle. King h1, bishop h3. You have two options. He can play rook d1 or rook g1. If rook g1, rook g1, he's asking for trade. Well, why not? I will do that. And after rook to e1, it will be back rank mates. So let's say after bishop h3, if he plays rook to d1, what can we play? Well, bishop g2 check is obvious. King g1 and then bishop takes f3 check. We transform the bishop from the h file to the f file. King f1 is forced and we go bishop g2. We don't need to play bishop takes rook because we cannot mate him. So, bishop g2. King g1 and then bishop e4 check. This is a very good move. King f1 and then bishop f5. He has no way to stop bishop h3 check. He plays something queen e2 because rook takes king takes will be free. But well, we can simply play here. Behind the rook g1 will be a good, fabulous back rank mate. Alright, thanks for watching Chess Deep Study. See you next time.